Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel called zuzanareacts, where I learn all things para with your help, and I just share my Slovak Central European point of view. And in today's video I'm super duper excited because we're going to look at the Ranveer show and on the topic that's very close to my heart, which is spirituality. And apparently we're going to discover how to unlock our psychic counters. Who's with me? Who's interested? Let me know in the comments. But before we jump into today's video,
please like this video and click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification. Thank you so much for your support.
Okay, so this is only a short, like 12 something minute long video. I think it's taken from a bigger podcast, but I'm dying to know what the lady has to say. So let's dive in.
Yeah, so I want to ask you about what the word psychic really means.
Okay, so technically, if I try to explain, it's basically tapping into a sixth sense or getting information that goes beyond your five senses, the five physical senses. So now, since you mentioned that, yeah, there are psychics who are in the society, but they don't want to come out as psychics. Let me spill some beans here. Every human being is a psychic.
Yeah.
It's a dormant ability?
No. So it's like, okay, if I have to go to explain here, little technical, so that, it's easily understood by the masses. We all have a physical body, right? Every human being has a physical body, and every human being also has subtle bodies, right? So it's not, this is what's seen. The subtle bodies are not seen.
Yeah. I think according to Indian scriptures, it's Sthul Sharir, Karan Sharir, and Sukshma Sharir.
Yes.
It basically means 3 layers of body.
Yes, the etheric body, the mental body, the emotional body. So we have many subtle bodies, right?
Yeah.
So how we have the physical body and the physical senses, the five senses are very visible. The eyes, ears, nose, and they are visible. But running parallel to these five senses are the subtle senses, which are not as visible, but they are in the subtle body. And to be more specific, are governed by the chakras.
Okay.
So if we say the physical vision or the eyes, the psychic sense that's running parallel to it is clairvoyance. So every human being has 2 types of visions, physical vision and a psychic vision, which we know as clairvoyance.
Yeah.
So it's like our physical vision is limited. It can tap into certain spectrums. But when I talk about clairvoyance, it has no limit.
Okay, hold on. I gotta pause this for a minute, break it down a little bit.
Okay.
You gotta explain the word chakras to people who don't understand that.
Okay.
That's one. Secondly, the thing you said about our human eye is only capable of seeing certain amount of the light spectrum.
Yeah.
This is science.
Yeah.
You can only see Vibgyor, the colors of the rainbow.
So certain spectrums which are caught by the human eye. But there are many more spectrums which humans can't tune to. But sometimes, there are animals tuning to different frequencies which humans can't see.
It's effectively like animals being able to see colors that humans can't see.
Exactly. So same way, just because human can't see certain things doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yep.
So the clairvoyants who are using their psychic vision are basically tapping into these frequencies, which normally a human won't be able to tap into. Okay, so which includes seeing spirits, ghosts, or even getting premonitions or things like that. Same way with every, I would say, physical sense, there is a parallel psychic sense running. Like hearing. What runs parallel to it is clairaudience. So there are people who can hear wavelengths which a normal ear can't catch. Same way, there are many more psychic abilities connected again to the physical senses and even beyond. Okay. Like there is clairsentience, which allows a person to sense things which normally a human may not be able to. And empaths, the empaths who can sense the feelings of others, or they can even absorb the feeling of others like their own. So they are clairsentients.
The reason I want to keep having conversations like this on my podcast is honestly because I've had experiences in my own life. I've once dated someone where I was in a very nice, healthy relationship with that person. And only 2-3 months into dating, she told me that she's also an empath. And she didn't say it openly, but I feel like she had some kind of psychic abilities also.
Yeah.
So I was telling her about my relationship with my father and how it's been a little strained growing up and how we're trying to make peace with each other at this point. And then she just held my hand really tightly, squeezed it, and then she started crying. Okay, and I'm like, what is happening here? Got really scared. And then she held my hand and she's like, your father is in a lot of pain for XYZ reason and he's in this place. No, I'm not going to say that XYZ reason publicly. He said he's in a lot of pain, something going on. I got really scared. Okay. And I started chanting Hanuman Chalisa in my head about what's going on here. I immediately called my mom and I asked her that, is he in this particular place and is something wrong? And she's like, yeah, he's had an injury or something.
Wow.
I was just like, okay, what is happening here? And that's why I realized empaths are real.
Yes.
Lots of people have psychic abilities that you don't know of.
Yes. And there's another one more major one, important one. And why I want to mention this is because I remember in Sarbajit's podcast, you mentioned about you getting downloads of information and questions that you were asking. That's known as claircognizance. Where you get downloads, it's like you don't know where the information is coming from, but it's coming to you.
And that could be creativity or just answers.
Anything, any information that you have not been exposed to with your 5 physical senses, basically.
Okay.
So every human being has the physical body and every human being has subtle body. So by default, every human being has psychic abilities. But what happens is, and yes, every child has enhanced psychic abilities. Every single child. So if a child is telling that, I have imaginary friends, they probably have one.
Okay. The reason I'm interrupting you so much in this intro conversation is because I think you're talking at a slightly high level as compared to what the audiences are used to. Which is why I'll keep stopping you and I'm gonna ask you about chakras again. What are chakras?
So these are the energy centers. And, so it's like our body is filled with chakras. We are energy beings, right? But there are 7 main chakras, which are the main energy centers of our body. So these are the ones that govern our physical, mental, emotional. So these are like the main points to in very simple terms. So now, since I'm mentioning about the psychic abilities, they are directly governed again by the chakras. And as I said, everybody is a psychic. Okay, let me give a small example here. Maybe that it becomes easier to understand. Suppose there's a small child. And as I said, that every child has enhanced psychic abilities. Okay, now the chakras are fully active and the child is sensing things, seeing things. But they never mention about it because for them, it's normal. It's like you won't go and tell somebody, hey, you know what? The sun rose from the east today. You just know, and you don't want to go out of the way discussing about it. So for children, it's just, they just feel that, yeah, everybody can. So they don't go out of the way talking about it unless something unusual happens, which had happened with me. I'll come to that later. So what happens is that, let's take an example that suppose there's this child who has all these enhanced abilities. And now the child is growing and is exposed to some kind of environment where this child is getting judged. This child is hearing things like, you're such a useless person and, you are not good enough and you can't do this much and you are just good for nothing. Now, what's happening? That's literally attacking the self-worth of the child. And the chakra that governs self-worth is the solar plexus. That's right in the stomach. So what's happening? Because of the words that this child is constantly exposed to, the chakra is getting blocked. Now, another example, this child grows a little and somewhere in the teenage, now this child is very creative, wants to probably get into art and music, and he's a genius in that.
Are you talking about me?
And suppose, this child is being forced to maybe take up engineering.
Oh, how does it sound?
Sorry, go on.
How does this sound? Does it sound like a typical Indian scenario? I feel like a lot of you guys, you have challenges with your parents wanting you to do things you don't want or study things you don't want.
Okay, so what's happening is the wings of this child are being cut, and the natural flow of this child's energy is being taken to another direction. Now, the chakra that governs creativity is the sacral chakra. So what happens? This child is forced to go into a direction that he doesn't belong to. So that's blocking his sacral chakra. So as the child grows, because of the various experiences and everything that he comes along, the chakras begin to get blocked. And eventually the subtle body is getting affected. So as the child is growing, the psychic abilities are already tuning down.
Okay. I'm going to give a bit of tiny perspective here on chakras. There was actually...
Okay, can I just stop here before he goes into chakra? You know what it made me think? Because I've done a video on Hinduism where it was like, like dharma as your duty. And then I know that our Indian parents are forcing their children to study like doctors, engineers, even though the kids don't want to do that. Like, how is that like living your dharma? That's what I'm getting. Please do help me elaborate how that works in Indian culture, because on one hand, you should be aware that there's dharma and that your children should be following your dharma. But at the same time, I'm hearing multiple stories and students being killed over exams, like to getting into a doctor's colleges and stuff like that, where they really absolutely don't want to do that. Like, how does that work? Like, is it the parents that are don't believing in dharma in that sense, and that does not make them Hindus? Just a question to you guys. It's very confusing because it doesn't add up in my head. So anything you can do to alleviate that confusion, please do, and let me know in the comment. Thank you. Let's continue.
A fantastic anime called Avatar: The Last Airbender. One of the episodes was about chakras, but they've explained chakras for children in a very simple way.
I have seen that. It's beautiful.
You have something called your cerebrospinal axis, which is like the central part of your body. There are important points along the central part of your body.
Yes.
Beginning with your reproductive organs, your intestines, your stomach, your heart, your thyroid gland in your throat, your pineal gland in your third eye. And they say that the 7th chakra is above your head. It's outside your body.
So how it goes is, so the 7 chakras are the root chakra, that's at the bottom of the spine. Then the second is the sacral, which is approximately 2 inches below your navel. Then the solar plexus, that is approximately 2 inches above your navel. The heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye, and the crown. So the basic 7 chakras. So the day-to-day activities and the kind of environment this child was exposed to is now what's happening. It's blocking its chakras, the child's chakras. So the psychic senses are automatically going down. So as an adult, the child doesn't even know that something like psychic abilities exist because it's already gone down. And that's what is happening with majority of humans. That, they are just losing the connect with their actual inner self. They are losing who they truly are. And something that they are born with just tones down.
Yeah, I think that age 9 or 10 to about, I would say 40 or 50 is actually a dark period in a human's life. And it's the period of life where society kind of just breaks you down, kills your dreams, puts shit inside your body, puts intoxicants.
Absolutely. But the good news is that it's reversible. You can undo all of it. Now, again, the same child. Suppose this child thinks that, okay, I'm done with this mess. I need to find my true self. I need to get aligned to my best version. Begins to meditate. Begins a spiritual journey. Begins to heal his inner child.
Does ayahuasca. Go on.
So he's undoing all the things that he was exposed to. What happens? His chakras begin to get unblocked. I'm sure you would have seen a difference between you, before you started meditating and after you started meditating, right? So that's how it goes. So everything starts getting unblocked and he starts getting tuned and the psychic senses start getting aligned again.
Yeah. Okay. The very modern urban guy version of this from me was that I let go of a lot of pain in those meditations, especially the early meditation, lots of tears.
Very important, because see, unless you let go of your pain and unless you let go of, the things that you're holding on to within you, your chakras are going to stay blocked.
Very interesting. Now it makes me want to watch the entire podcast. Like, if you guys want me to watch the entire podcast with this lady, please do let me know in the comments below and I will surely do so. I actually haven't thought about meditation, unblocking your past, like traumas and hurts that coming back to, you know, like your true self. It's very, very interesting for me, actually, something new that I've learned. Obviously, there are multiple benefits of meditation, but I have never realized that could be a way how to kind of reattune, because I've tried for so many years and nothing is happening. And so, for example, in my particular case, I felt like when I was around the ages of maybe, so when they said that it's when you start shutting down, I never really had like any psychic experience when I was a kid. But I think for me, from the age of maybe 17 to end of university, so perhaps when I was 23 or 24, I had a lot of, I never know which one it is actually, because I have like a lot of knowing. So let's say I was 17, I really wanted to have a boyfriend. And at that point, the way I grew up and the people I was around, and basically I was not allowed out of the house still at the age of 17. So you would have, you know, kids going to bars, meeting people, and I really wanted to have a boyfriend. And I, you know, just like, I guess any kid around 17 wants. And what happened, I was like, there's just not a chance. Like, I'm not allowed to go out of the house. I have just the extracurricular activities, which is only ever women. Chanceless. Like, no way I'm ever going to meet someone like that. And then I had this kind of knowing, or perhaps it was like, maybe this is what she was talking about, like when you're downloading information. And it just like came to me saying like, don't worry, it will not be long from now and you'll have a boyfriend. And I was like, what a lot of nonsense, you know, but I just had that like kind of thought in my head, like it came to me and I was like, this is nonsensical. And it was, I think, around winter time. And maybe in 6 months, from then, I actually met my first boyfriend, like literally in front of my house. So it's just, you never know. And then during university years, I had lots of like kind of knowings about how things will turn out, where rational mind was arguing with my non-rational mind, I guess, about like what is going to happen. So I was always scared about like not passing exams. And I always had advice, don't worry, it will be all right. But I knew like what I've written at the test, right? And I was thinking, there is not a chance in the world I would have passed that. And then I always did. And I always did. And I think it took me maybe like 3 years to really start trusting it. But then I think when I went to my more adult years, that has completely gone. Like, it felt like, for me, I would call it intuition. I've lost that. And even though I try to meditate, I don't think I've really gotten it back, actually. So for all of you, if you know rishis, good rishis in India, I'm planning to go to a trip, please let me know. I would love to do. Maybe I just need to go to India, and maybe I'm just doing something wrong with my meditation, and I just need to go somewhere where they train these things. But I just want to do it like from a good people. So any suggestions in the comments, or feel free to email me on zuzanareacts@gmail.com. Of who you think might be, or what you think might be good from a spiritual point of view. If I go to India, that would be like super duper helpful. And I'm also, for this video is like, so how psychic do you guys believe you are? Like, do you have your intuition? Do you have any of those gifts? I would be like stoked if you could share. I know it's not, you know, for everyone to share this in the comments, but I would love to know. And I would love to know like any interesting stories you have to share. I live for it. I literally live for it. So yeah, please do share in the comments below. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video with me. If you did enjoy it, please give a thumbs up, share, like, and subscribe to this channel. And I'll see you in the next one. Until then, please do take care. I am sending so much love. Bye-bye.